Hello, everyone. Jimmy Grant here today with another lesson for you. Today, we're going to tackle playing fast, whatever that means. Um, so, before that, I want to mention below. The reason I'm doing this lesson is because one of my subscribers mentioned, or someone on social media mentioned, they would like to work on playing fast and technique. Uh, and so that's why I'm doing this video today. If you want to kind of submit some info, please check out the survey I have down below, as well as my newsletter. If you want to sign up for that, there's some freebies and things in there too, some free tabs and exercises for you. So please check that out and like and subscribe for more. It helps. It keeps me inspired to keep making this material. Actually, the last few months have been really excellent with subscribers and things. So thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and get started on today's lesson, playing fast. So before I even start talking about it, I think we should define what you mean playing fast. Maybe playing over faster tempos or things like that, which can be difficult, of course. Let's just go ahead and tackle some technique things. Technique's a big part of playing fast. You're not going to be able to play fast if you do certain things like hold the pick a certain way. Let me show you. I'm using a Dunlop pick here. I'm using a thinner one today. I started liking these 1.1s. The reason is so the biggest thing with the pick is thick pick, thin pick, or whatever. You want something dull. You don't. I don't use the pointy side because the pointy side, when you play, it catches on the strings. So I'm battling with it, and I don't like that. I like a little more freedom and not that much difference in tone. Um, so, so that's the thing. If you look how I'm holding the pick, I have another video on how to hold the pick. Here, I'll try to post a link right there or there. But it's just a short video. I hold the edge of it. Big thing is not holding the pick too tight. It needs to move a little bit. Yeah, so that's the basics of like kind of holding a pick, and then with the Gypsy picking, it's in the wrist, and you're using gravity. And there's different tricks when you're playing faster. You kind of have to let go a little bit when you're playing those faster licks and just accept how they land. If you listen to all these recordings, you slow them down. It's always a little bit. It's always a little bit sloppy. Not sloppy, but it's just a little bit. Sometimes it's unclear what the notes are. It's because it's moving so fast. So it's almost some kind of illusion. Anyway, so there's how you hold the pick. That's a big part of it. And, I'm starting on a downstroke. And then also, I want to go over with how you practice this kind of stuff. And I grew up in a place where there's not a lot of gypsy jazz, which is fast music. And I don't know. I quickly learned that I needed to change my technique if I wanted to get the right sound. And I was at the time this was maybe it was before. This was almost 20 years ago. No, 15 years ago. I was playing quite a bit with Gonzalo Bergara. And so one thing he was always doing was transcribing solos. So that's what I did. I started transcribing solos. I'll give you an example of but it's not just transcribing the solos. You're learning to play them. Let me put something on. So I want to use Limehouse Blues as an example. I'm only going to do like a half a course because I don't want this video to be too long, and because I need to refresh myself, and it's just what I have completely memorized. So it was memorized. I want to take this Limehouse Blues solo, and here it is at 100% speed. Okay. Okay, that was just a small section of it, and I'm just using this as an example because I want to show you how to practice this and how to practice faster. So when I started playing, I was like, "How do you play like that?" Well, it's okay. That was 100% speed, and I was wondering, how do you play that fast? It took me a while to get it that fast. It's time consuming, but you have to be patient with yourself and not necessarily worry about playing fast. But I'm going to show you the tempo I started playing it at. And YouTube, this wasn't the case when I was doing it. Started, I was using a program called Transcribe. But now you can get all this for free on YouTube. You just go in the settings and you can change the speed. I'm going to change it to. I started transcribing when I start learning this solo. I started it at 60% of the speed. Here's 65%. So when I learned to play, so I was literally. So I was practicing at this tempo. Ah, it's wrong. So I started when I was learning these. I literally slowed them down and I practiced them every day for months until uh, until I was up to 100%. Now, so that's pretty slow. So eventually, I moved it up a little bit more. That's We're at 85% now. It took a long time to get this tempo. So So that's how slow I practiced it. And of course, at the time, I was still working a full time job on top of this, so it was very time consuming. I mean, I was well, I mean, I was doing it every day, 10 minutes a day, and practicing, making sure everything's clear, making sure the line, making sure all the notes are clear and perfect. So this is what I started, and then that was one thing that helped me get up to being playing up to tempo and just really. I think it's important to set goals for yourself. Like my goal was to play that Django solo up to speed, that one, and then there was like like that stuff. It was my goal to get it up to tempo, so I had set goals for myself. So this is important. And I spent a lot of time working on these because I had concerts I had booked, so I had a reason to play them. So it was this was this is what I did to get myself playing up the tempo. Um, so that's how you want to practice, and you want to, and so that's the first one is transcribing and start slow, and just making sure you're comfortable when you're doing everything. You're relaxed. I'm not feeling when I'm playing like this. I'm not feeling any tension. There's zero tension in my arm. So when you're practicing this, if you're struggling, you need to change yourself a little bit, and then slowly work up to the tempo. There's this stuff takes time, but if you're focused, it's faster than you would think. It's faster to practice slow than it is to play fast and mess up. Um, Now let's go if you're improvising. We just did Limehouse Blues, but there's some lines in there to have some really nice simple stock lines, like to play that you can play at fast tempos. I play this too much probably, or like like things like that, just like because you want to be. This is more of like a psychological state of playing fast. Is you want to be comfortable. You want to be in a good mindset. So when you have these simple, just like just like simple lines are going to help you with your mindset when you're playing fast. Which, if you're not relaxed, you're worried about playing something nice. It's just you're not making music. Then you're just you're playing what you feel. And so having little lines like that, I find can kind of ease yourself a little bit. You know, playing, making sure you're in a pocket when you're doing it, of course. So, and technique's a big part of this, but also just starting slow is the biggest thing, though. And you know, there's I always tell people playing musette is a very important. Because it helps you work on this speed technique, getting a waltz up to speed, and you're kind of focusing on the actual having things memorized that you play. I think this is more important than there's this everything is improvised. It's not so much. Um, most of these lines are worked out somewhat. Even with Borelli, Django, his solos were always different, but he definitely had similar things. Like. Um, I was working on just one of those things the other day. He does. That, and I showed you the dark eyes lick earlier. Those arpeggios right there are. That's. Things change a little bit, but not that much. It's all the same. Few ideas. But you have to be able to play slow to play fast. And I think transcribing and practicing solos real slow is a great way to do this. Another thing that I would do to get to play faster is with the metronome. So sometimes I prefer the metronome over backing tracks because you're let me turn the volume down a little bit, because the metronome is more the rhythm sections change. The metronome doesn't. It's more honest with you. Like how the rhythm section feels is different for different backing tracks. Record your own backing tracks. But I would just take something like Autumn Leaves. Maybe at this tempo even. And I would take it and just practice like. And try to keep with the metronome. It was a little off there, so. And just trying to keep that flow of notes and keeping relaxed, Triplets. And it doesn't matter then trying to follow the changes. It matters the notes you play, but just trying to keep with it. And when you mistake, keep going. And that's just triplets, like da 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 da, and keeping with the metronome as much as you can. As you know. And those ideas aren't that interesting harmonically, but just like practicing in that way, like just working on your timing and and then you take it, you do a faster tempo. Let's see, that was 132 BPM. You know, just keep going. And if you lose it, get back on track. Off, So that's another thing about practicing fast. And earlier we were transcribing solos and trying to apply some of those licks, but I was just triplets over arpeggios and things. And just making sure it's clear, and then finding your way. But making sure your right hand's good, making sure you're relaxed, and just another thing about playing fast is there's a tendency to try to overplay. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Sorry. So another thing about playing fast is playing too loud. And like I was playing triplets earlier, and one thing I was making sure I wasn't doing was over accenting notes or things. And I was just because you don't, when you're playing triplets or you're playing fast, you don't want to play like that's too much. So the volume sounds the same there, but it's the same amount of effort. But I'm not just not. I'm not playing like that. Like every note is the same volume. So like volume. You don't. You're gonna tense your arm up too much if you're playing. I'm hitting this pick at the string at an angle too. I've always mentioned this 45-degree angle. So that's another thing about playing fast is keeping notes the same volume and not overplaying on notes. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm just going to mention it again just in case I didn't mention it right. So I didn't mention this. Where I'm picking, I'm not picking over the sound hole because over the sound hole you can get a nice sound. It's beautiful, nice warm sound. Or you can do it there. It's a nice sound over there. It's warm. But when you're playing fast, you don't want to play here because the strings have less tension. So let's say my finger is a string here, and I hit the string, and it vibrates like that, and now my pick's vibrating like that too. It's moving too. It creates you're battling with the guitar now. If you play up here, if you play closer to the bridge, not on the bridge, because that sounds like, and so you don't want to play on the bridge because it doesn't sound good. But there's a sweet spot there. So it's a good spot. So there's more tension in the bridge in the strings there. So you're getting less of this vibrating battling against the strings. So that's why when you're playing faster, it's better to play closer to the bridge here. So like. There's more battle with the guitar, and you don't. That's the last thing you want to be doing when you play fast is battling with the guitar. Um, let's see. I have some notes here, and so I'm just going through here. The final thing is when you're trying to learn something fast. Like. Sometimes the best method is you have to give up. Not really give up. You take note and you have to come back to something because sometimes your brain's not ready to digest information or digest certain licks. There's several solos that I just didn't make sense to me, and some weird lines that just didn't make sense, and it was too much work to figure it out. So I had to come back to it later. Not too much work to figure out. I just couldn't comprehend it. My brain, my technique was probably not ready. So some things you have to set aside until later. That's probably my final piece of advice for playing faster. So first, practice things slow. That's advice number one. Number two is metronome and playing faster and just trying to be free with the tempo and just working up to it. Once again, start slow. And just practicing slow. That was number two. Let me take a look at my notes again. Sorry. How you practice, take your time with it. You'll develop faster muscle memory if you take things slowly. Like I was like the Django recording, I was playing it at 60. When I started practicing, I was practicing this literally at 65, almost half of the speed of the solo. So that's how slow I had to take it to get it up to tempo. But it took time, and you just have to have a goal. It was a goal. My goal was to learn that solo and all these Django solos and get them up to tempo. And I tried, and I definitely did not try to. I tried not to overwhelm myself with too many solos to learn at the same time. Um, Take note of this too when you're playing, when you're doing these Django solos and stuff like that. Um, don't spend too much time working on one thing either. That's something I probably regret is spending too much time on one lick and not coming back. Play it till you have it in time, and then once you've worked on it 5-10 minutes, move on. Because if you stick on it too long, it's just you're not training your fingers. You're just you're developing at that point. You're developing bad habits. So make sure you move on. Um, have some simple stock lines. Play at fast tempos. So that's another thing. Fast stock lines. And I think my final one was sometimes you have to give up at one point. Not give up, but set something aside. I don't like the give up is the wrong word, but sometimes you need to set things aside, and that's okay. You come back to it later, and it's easier, and you're like, oh, I can get this now. Sometimes you need a break from something. It's good to challenge yourself, and it's really good. But sometimes maybe a fingering is not making sense, and you need to come back because the fingering is not good or whatever. Doesn't matter. But that's the final step. Is sometimes you have to set something aside on the faster, more difficult things. Anyways, I hope this video helps. So please, if it does, please, this is probably my longest educational video I've done. So I hope it's helpful. And check out my links below. Like I said, I have a survey of things you want to learn. Please do that because it helps me decide what kind of videos I'm going to do. That's why I made this video. Someone was asking me how to play fast. And I hope this is helpful. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. And there's also my newsletter. Please sign up for that. I have some lesson packages and things like that available for sale. So, anyways, I hope to see you soon. And please reach out if you have any questions or anything. Comment below. I'll get back to you. I respond to every email I get. So, anyways, thank you. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.